Damn, I really do have a lot of nice merch on here. That's crazy. Oh, my bad. Yeah, go check that out in the description. Go check that in the description. Fang Gang merch. All right. I wanted to look at this video about Mr. Beast and what's his employee name? Tyson, KRIS Tyson, whatever. Let's take a look at this video from, if I'm not mistaken, Lauren Chen, and then give my opinion on it. And guys, go and watch their channel in full so you can see the video uninterrupted by me if you would like. They be kicking some knowledge. Go and check them out. Let's see what they got to say.
Because I am a woman.
Oh,
that's crazy.
She heard.
Take a moment on that. Like, how does that feel publicly saying in front of cameras that you are a woman?
To even say it to some of the closest friends, it would make me like my hands shake to say it. I would get so nervous. But now I can say I'm a woman. I'm happy to say I'm a woman. It's something that's honestly so freeing. And I think that is part of what the HRT did for me, was being able to accept myself and being able to look in the mirror and say, yes, you are a woman.
So it turns out that the individual who left his child and his wife to play dress up and make believe online for the congratulation of strangers. Yeah, it turns out that he is an even worse person than I would have thought, which is saying something. Yeah, let's talk about KRIS Tyson. Now, KRIS Tyson is someone you've probably heard of as one of the sidekicks attached to Mr. Beast. And Mr. Beast is, of course,
Mr. Beast got like 1,000 sidekicks, bro. I ain't even peeped that. I don't really watch Mr. Beast. I don't think his content is like really for me. It has to be something that's like highly talked about for me to be like, all right, let me check this out. See what the heck he doing over here. I don't think it's directed for me. I think it's more towards kids. I think kids will have more fun looking at his content.
Largest YouTube channel out there. With that said, though, KRIS Tyson does have a channel and popularity in his own right with millions of subscribers. You see, KRIS has proven to be somewhat of a controversial figure, and not just for some dumb, stupid YouTube reason like, oh, he rapped the N-word as part of a song. No. You see, a little bit ago, KRIS came out as trans, i.e., despite the fact that he is a male, he now identifies as being a woman. And even amongst people who support trans rights, this kind of raised eyebrows for a couple of reasons. Number one being that Mr. Beast and KRIS himself, they have a very young audience. And clearly...
Yeah, I just said that. His content ain't for me. But I do believe a lot of children watch Mr. Beast, for sure. I really do believe
despite what some activists might try to tell you, there are ethical implications of platforming someone to such a young audience who claims that gender is just whatever you feel. And not only that, but KRIS has come out and explicitly endorsed cross-sex hormone treatment for minors, which, by the way, is something that is now being banned in European countries. So that
was him. So, and Mr. Beast, I think, said he was going to stand with him too. So he might be looking like that in Mr. B's videos.
Obviously is not a great look, but to top it off, KRIS is also someone who previously was married and does have a child with his ex-wife. And I know that we're living in an era when the most popular advice out there is just to live your truth, pursue your own happiness, do whatever makes you feel good. But still, I feel like you've got to be a pretty cold-hearted person and, yes, a narcissist to abandon the life you built with your wife, the person you made vows with, in order to pursue whatever sense of gender identity you're feeling at the moment. In any case, this whole controversy with KRIS has been going on for quite a while. It's not necessarily new news, but KRIS was once more trending on social media because he recently appeared on the Anthony Padilla podcast. I don't know. This is another one of those YouTubers who is very large, but who I have absolutely no familiarity with, to not only affirm that he in fact is a woman and discuss his experience with transitioning genders, but also to reveal that his name will now, drumroll, be KRIS Tyson, but with a K. And I know there's a good chance that...
Yo, wait, what? My man said, all right, guys, my name is changing from KRIS to KRIS. Whoa. Okay. Now, if I had children that did watch Mr. Beast and were fans, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable now at this point. There's just questions that might arise. then now I'm gonna have to answer, and for all of that, you might as well watch my channel. For all of that.
That a lot of you don't care about or are not familiar with any of the people involved in this conversation. But at the time that I'm filming this video has been out for around a day and it already has 830,000 views. So I think it's safe to say that, yeah, this is culturally relevant, which is too bad because in this interview.
No, the kid's gonna be like, look, Mom, he has your name or she has your name. My bad. Because I don't want to, be disrespectful to someone who transitioned. You hear me, YouTube? Don't 86 my ish. Don't want to be disrespectful. She has your name. That's crazy. Say, KRIS is better. That's facts. That's facts. Real talk. Way better. You hear that, Mr. Beast? KRIS is better.
KRIS makes several revelations about himself that honestly are just awful and reek of a lack of morality. But because we live in 2023, right. KRIS, for displaying some of the worst ethical and rational standards imaginable under the guise of being trans, he's actually being celebrated for this. Yeah, so I thought we should take the time to unpack it all. But before we do, I want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Patriot Gold. There's a lot of economic and financial uncertainty right now. The threat of inflation is ever looming. And if you're someone who's trying to plan for retirement, no matter how close or...
Girl, I'm too broke. How you talking? You broke when you too broke to invest. Hell, you talking about? I ain't got it. I ain't got it. And all these damn gold commercials and shit and coins. I ain't got it. Okay, I would tattoo that on my forehead if I could.
I'm sick of worrying about the government. I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Oh, I'm joking. Check her out. Go and make sure if you want to watch the ads in the video in full uninterrupted by me, please go and check her out, man. She be cooking.
Explains how he always knew he was trans due to experiences he had when he was a child.
I was 6 years old. My sisters went to camp. My parents were in the living room. I told my parents that I was going to build a popsicle stick airplane in my room. And then I went to my sister's room and went in their closet and grabbed as much stuff as...
Hold on, you said he wasn't dressed like this. So the kids might not have noticed it because he's not dressed like this.
My room. And then I went to my sister's room.
He might be dressed like this.
Went in their closet and grabbed as much stuff as I can. And I locked my door and I turned on Arthur. And it was the episode where there was ballerinas. And I just pretended to be
you gonna bring Arthur into this? Hey, it's a wonderful kind of day when we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. You gotta listen to the heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the... My bad. I love Arthur. That was my shit when I was a kid, bro. Boy, did I like that cartoon. I remember my first grade graduation, they made us sing the theme song for our graduation. It was actually beautiful. I wish I had that footage. Man, we killed that shit.
Ballerina and danced around my room. And from that moment on, I was like, I don't know what this is.
Asking I need to hide it.
So I hate that this even needs to be explained in this day and age, but a little boy pretending to be a ballerina does not make him trans. And the fact that KRIS is on this huge platform.
That's all I'm going to say. How are you bringing Arthur into this? Arthur didn't have a trans episode. Oh boy, having like the ballerina, that doesn't make him trans, right? Once again, if you want to transition as an adult, that is your choice. You're right. Who am I to tell you what to do with your body? You know what I mean? But when you're trying to like, I guess, put it all out there and then like almost force feed it to children, that's when I have like a problem.
Kind of saying that, yeah, it does make you trans. This is when I knew I was trans. That is very dangerous. That is very harmful. I would hate to think of any young viewers out there who are watching this interview thinking, hang on a second, I'm a boy, but I wanted to be a ballerina. I'm a boy, but I like dressing.
Right. Exact. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous, bro. Let kids be kids. When they're adults, if they want to make whatever decisions they want to make, okay. Right. But why are you trying to force it?
I'm a girl, but I like playing with cars. Maybe I'm trans. It's like, no, you're not. And the fact that we're still peddling this idea that simultaneously gender stereotypes are harmful, but also if you don't fit into them, that means you are trans. It's so toxic. And this is the last type of content that kids should be consuming. And never mind that, as others have pointed out, the fact that KRIS claims to have known he was trans from such a young age, but still went and married a woman as a man, that's problematic in and of itself. In marriage, like in most things, I think informed consent is very important. And if it is true that KRIS knew for a long time he was actually a woman, but was just in a man's body, yeah, it seems like that should have been a thing that he shared with his wife. And considering that he and his wife are no longer together, it seems like that is not what happened. And for anyone out there who might say, well, oh, maybe he just was struggling with this idea when he was a kid, but he didn't really realize he was trans until much later. It doesn't seem like that's what happened either from this interview. In fact, in this interview, KRIS actually says that.
Yeah, that just sounds like something that he wanted to turn into a moment. Right? You said, I don't trust 99.99% atheists. That's funny. That's funny. And Mr. Beast is atheist. I didn't know that. Well, whatever. Gee, you stay on, right? I'm riding with the Lord, though. I'm one of God's people. I know that. That's the only thing I can say. I'm one of God's people. So I'm rolling with the Lord. You know what I mean? It'd be awful if the negatively affects Mr. Beast. It definitely would. He took a stand though. If you're going to stand besides or whatever they're doing over there, then it is what it is, right? Mr. Beast is at a certain level. I don't think it would. In fact, he might get more of a following of the way how woke everyone is today. He might. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe as well, man. So you can keep catching these live streams, man. You never know what we're going to talk about. I'm going to start changing the titles around where you ain't going to know what we talking about in the title. I'm going to start doing that. I always wanted to. So I'm going to start doing it, man. So whoever comes to my live streams are people that genuinely want to come to my live streams. But starting tomorrow, my live streams are going to change the titles to where I'm going to try to not put people's names in my titles no more. You can just pull up if you want to pull up type of stuff.
That he knew he was trans, like as an adult, as much as 7 years ago. And not only that, but he even told this to Mr. Beast.
Kind of weird to see people be like, now Jimmy's put in between a rock and a hard place where he obviously doesn't want to support KRIS, right, but the left would be so mad if he didn't. And I'm like, all these speculation, all these crazy things. I told Jimmy like 7 years ago.
So KRIS claims to have told Jimmy this 7 years ago, but did he tell his wife this? That's my question. And I think that's the bigger question here than whether some YouTuber he works with knew. And I can't really go into the mental health implications of all this too much, lest YouTube give me a strike again. But suffice it to say that there's a lot revealed here. It seems like this KRIS person is someone who has definitely, at the very least, struggled with concepts of masculinity for a while. Now, whether that actually makes him a woman, that's a different conversation. And in my opinion, the answer is no. But as this post explains, KRIS TYSON reveals she told Mr. Beast she was trans 7 years ago when they lived together. 3 years ago, there was a moment with all the guys. I blurted out, I don't want to be a man anymore. And the support I got from them in that moment, that's when I knew I had my friends back. Again, there's such a strange dichotomy here from leftists who simultaneously hate gender norms and stereotypes and want to destroy them. But they also seem to be the people who are most often confined by gender norms. Here, KRIS says, I don't want to be a man anymore. What does it even mean to be a man, though, KRIS? Are you just saying that you don't want to be masculine anymore? You don't want to wear jeans anymore? You don't want to be a father or a husband anymore? Those are legitimate identity crises. And I think in a sane world, these are issues that someone would sit down with KRIS to discuss at length and talk about and unpack. But instead of that happening, it seems that the route KRIS has taken is just to transform himself into a woman, or at least attempt to. Because in this interview, KRIS also details his experience coming out as trans to his therapist.
I came out to myself with my therapist, and it took like 3 therapy sessions where I was like, I've known this for a long time. I'm pretty sure. And then I was, I know and then I was like, I am a woman. And it was hard for me to say that because I was so scared of saying I am a woman and then instantly hearing, no, you're not. Mm-hmm. Because in my head, I fought with that every day.
That's the conversation
Man, there's not much I could say that won't get me. It's like not going to get me in trouble. I think, for one, your therapist conversation should probably stick between you and your therapist. I don't know who your therapist is, though. But if they just sat there, which there's a kind of what therapists do, they sit there and help you, guide you to your conclusion. I think that maybe you needed a mentor in your life, like an actual male role model. I think that you never learned what it meant to be a man, which is why now you're running from manhood so much so that you're abandoning your children. I think that that's like a big issue. Is that right? I don't think you necessarily had to transition just because you didn't feel comfortable, right, in your own skin. A lot of people don't feel comfortable in their own skin. That's true, especially during puberty. You know what I mean? People have puberty and they feel like they're this or that or that. And that's why now it's dangerous because you have so many labels, right? I'm not even talking about genders, but you could put so many labels in yourself as children, teenagers. You watch these TV shows and learn, oh, you could be this and this, and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, yo, allow yourself to be an adult first, right? And then you'll find yourself, bro. Fam, if you see me as a teenager, first of all, I painted my fucking nails as a kid. That was one thing. I just did it just to do it. Wore all black for a good solid 2 to 3 years, listened to nothing but like rock music nonstop. Skateboarded as well. None of these things I'm naming is nothing wrong with except for the painting nails thing. I wouldn't do it now, just personal choice. Right? This is what I did as a teenager. And as an adult, I wouldn't do it because I want to take more of a stance towards masculinity. I feel like masculinity is being stripped away from men, especially within America. So I'm doing kind of like a counter type of stance, right? I'll refuse to paint my nails because I don't want anyone to take my masculinity. I'm not wearing no dress. None of that bullish. But other than that, be you, whatever. There's a lot of things that I did or the ways I dressed, all types of shit as a teenager. And then once I found myself and became truly comfortable, which it wasn't that hard, actually. I did that as a teenager too. And just kept gaining more experience, more and more and more as I got older. So I do think that these children, man, just live your life. When you get older, you're going to realize, man, that none of us had it all figured out as kids. None of us. Some of us don't have it figured out as adults. You got people out here like 55, homeless, doing GoFundMes, begging for people to pay their rent, and they're grown. Yeah, man, you don't know what the hell is going on until you're older. I remember when older people used to tell me you don't know shit, and I was a smart kid, man. I was super smart. There's a lot of opinions I have now that I had back then, right? But I had to agree with them. I still feel like now I don't know shit because there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot that a lot of people don't know. Part of being like, an adult and growing is realizing and accepting that fact, accepting death, accepting that we don't know everything, accepting that there's more to the universe. Or maybe that's just me with my stoic type of flow. But that's just how I feel.
You were having it yourself.
There was a voice in the back of my head that just hated me. Everything I did hated me. Just listening to what my body wanted. Like, that's when that voice started going away. Started taking HRT. I haven't heard from that voice in a very long time.
It's very strange to me that so often when we hear from trans individuals discussing their process of coming out or struggling with gender identity, it seems like so much of their well-being is wrapped up in how other people see them or what other people think of them. We have KRIS saying that he's afraid to come out as a woman lest someone tell him, no, he's not. But I mean, as a woman, let me tell you, I don't care whether other people recognize me as a woman. That is simply what I am, right? My identity is not dependent on how other people view me. And simultaneously, my identity as a woman.
I'm not mad at that. You said you only attack religious people that use their religion to attack you. I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with religion, there are people that do that. I don't think all religion should be judged based off of some people that use it as a weapon. A lot of people use everything as a weapon, right? Power corrupts. If you're really in touch with the Lord, man, you wouldn't even have it in your heart to try to throw that energy at anybody, right? But I see it. I've been in some bad churches. I've been in some horrible churches, bro. Drama-filled, toxic, grifting, all types of stuff. But my love for the Lord is strong. So I understand exactly what you're saying, and I definitely get it. Thank you, Crystal.
Is also not something that I think makes up a core part of myself. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I'm not sure I can explain this, but it's like, yes, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. So much of, what I do and who I am in my day to day is wrapped up in femininity. But at the same time, if someone disagreed that I was a woman or didn't recognize me as a woman, it's not something that would.
Hold on. Man, you look like a woman to me, Lauren. Xander Ho attacked Lauren Chin because she said leftist men are baiters. Even though it's a fact, Xander Ho showed a picture of Hassan with his shirt off. Hey, yo. You've been watching too much Vosh, Xander Ho. The hell is, hey.
Hey, yo! Y'all ain't like it?
What kind of point was he trying to prove with that? Hey, yo, Hassan with his shirt off to prove her wrong, who's a massive beta. That's crazy. Hassan is definitely a beta. Xander is definitely a beta. I'm not going to say all leftist men are betas because I don't know all leftist men, but I will say that there is a lot of beta energy coming from the liberal side, I will say. A lot of liberals happen to be beta. A lot. I don't know of all, but a lot.
Bring me to tears or anything like that, because there's also other aspects of me, and I don't necessarily define myself by this one facet. This may be an understatement, but I definitely think that a lot of trans individuals have, let's just say, an unhealthy obsession with gender. And speaking of being unhealthy, I definitely think that, and I don't think this is something that KRIS himself would even deny, he is someone who has struggled with depression, which is a very sad thing. I haven't experienced depression before, but I have experienced anxiety, and I know what it's like to be in a mental state that you hate and feel like you seemingly can't escape it. The reason why I bring this up isn't to shame KRIS or anything.
I still deal with anxiety. I just deal with it a different way. I learned like something that I've been using ever since I was younger from a military friend. I had a military friend that when he would train me, bring me to the military base, he told me how he overcame a lot of his struggles is that his body would tell him that he couldn't do something, and his mind would be like, F that, you ain't punking me, I'm the master. And he would force himself to do all types of crazy workouts. So I started using that for my anxiety. So the more anxious I am, the more I want to do it. If I'm about to debate somebody and I'm anxious, I want to do it even more. I run towards the fire because I ain't going to be afraid of shit. And if I am afraid of it, I'd rather be courageous. That's my mantra, man. Fang gang. Fear always negates greatness. You think all the good things that you could achieve if you didn't let fear dictate you? I mean, people wanted to be musicians, but were too afraid of getting laughed at on stage or afraid of failure. They never went out there and learned their lessons, right? I'm never going to be in a place where I let fear dictate anything I do. Never, ever, ever. All right, but that's just my way of thinking, I guess. You know what I mean?
Like that, I don't think there's anything shameful about struggling with depression or any number of different mental health issues. But I do think that a desire for validation that stems from that may be, at least in part, behind the transformation that we are seeing before our eyes unraveling over social media. Because let's be real, despite all of the claims of transphobia and anti-trans bigotry, if you want just immediate social validation points, in 2023, the fastest way to accomplish that is to come out as trans. You will immediately have a built-in group of fans telling you are beautiful and brave and stunning. And KRIS has experienced just that. I mean, take this post, for example. KRIS TYSON is so pretty, and I don't care what anyone else says. Look at her. She's so beautiful, and I love her so much. Unconditional admiration and validation simply for being. That is what KRIS TYSON is now experiencing as a trans woman. It doesn't matter that he's hurt his child and his wife in the process. It doesn't matter that he seemingly also has a litany of other mental health issues that he's still struggling with. It doesn't matter that he is a role model who is actively encouraging a dangerous lifestyle. Hey, KRIS is trans. Well, that's good enough for, unfortunately.
Yeah, I understand trying to support whatever for whoever or whatever reason. But come on. Like, man, come on, bro. Do you even know him? Like, do you know his position on certain things? What's his stance? Right? Before you just so quick to just, yes, let's all support. Like, fam, you don't know. You don't know. You know what I mean? You have no idea. Right? At least the people I'm speaking on, it don't seem like they do. My personal opinion.
Far too many people. By the way, if you think I'm looking into things too much with this need for validation, just take a look at Chris's own timeline. There is selfie after selfie of him, frankly, still looking masculine, in my opinion. But still people feel the need to, frankly, love bomb him and tell him how beautiful he is and how brave he is and how they're so happy he's found his truth because they're worried about this individual. They're trying to be nice. They don't want to put someone in a mental health crisis in any worse situation. But that is not how we legitimately help people, by indulging.
Yeah. We live in a world where, and this is facts, but I've seen a true crime content creator go on his live stream and cry about how he feels like harming or deleting himself from a video game. And instead of people telling him to go to the hospital or to seek help, they sat there and donated and told him how brave he was for crying on his stream. And then when I called into the stream and say, hey, you should go to the hospital, bro. Like, and this, I'm not even saying this because I don't like you. I'm saying this because, man, I've had friends that I've lost because of things like this. If you're that depressed where you think that, like, you want to do something that can be harmful, you should get yourself checked out, brother. Like, and then I was told I was evil. But being the only one who actually did say something helpful.
Their delusions. And I mean, speaking of indulging delusions, there's this one part of the interview where KRIS like tries on his woman voice, and as a woman, to say that it is offensive would
woman voice
mildly.
We might have to do a couple of takes.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here goes.
Sure.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations on buying Smosh.
So that didn't sound like a woman. That sounded.
The fact that and I've vocal trained, right? He just did a warm up that opens up your head voice, which is your higher register. It's it's not your highest, but it's your higher natural voice before you switch into a falsetto, which is fake singing. So now it's like if you was to do a vocal warm up, I'm a baritone. Me. That's slower. Me. He is what he just did to open up his head voice and then start talking like that. What the hell is that? Talking through your head voice is not like, that doesn't mean that's a woman's voice. That's crazy. People don't understand how crazy it is. Okay.
Sounded like a man imitating a woman in an offensive.
He literally he warmed up his headspace voice like he was about to sing, which is what I do before I record vocals sometimes because people don't like low tones. Majority of people don't like low tones.
Yeah.
All right. Here goes.
Sure.
Yep.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations on buying Smosh.
So.
And that sounded horrible. Yeah, he just opened up his headspace. That was trash.
That didn't sound like a woman. That sounded like a man imitating a woman in an offensive caricature, by the way. And it's kind of interesting because the trans rights activists will be the first to say that, oh, there's no one way or right way to be a woman because they're trying to push the idea that even men can be women. But at the same time, when a trans individual who is male wants to be a woman, the first thing they do is go to stereotypes. They slog on the makeup, they grow out their hair, they try to speak in a higher pitched voice. And it's like, that's not all that being a woman is. And frankly, the idea that you can distill womanhood into these.
I would say that doing that would be similar to blackface. Putting on a wig, making your voice higher and doing a bunch of stereotypes for women to impersonate a woman would be similar to blackface. Now, also, I'm not offended by blackface. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm not one of the people that want to cancel Shane Dawson. I don't care. Comedy is different. I miss that type of comedy. I miss comedy from the 90s and early 2000s. Real talk. I really do.
Superficial aspects is, I will say once more, offensive. And I know there are going to be conservatives out there who are saying, well, if this individual is so bad, why do you right-wingers keep platforming them? All you're doing is spreading their message more. And it's like, this is someone who has millions of subscribers on YouTube. Okay, the person that's interviewing him, Anthony, he has millions of subscribers on YouTube. Mr. Beast, who this person works with, is the biggest YouTuber on the planet. It is not up to right-wingers to platform and spread these left-wing
Right.
ideas. And frankly, the only reason why some right-wing people think that is because they are so far down their rabbit hole and they are so divorced from what young people are actually consuming that, yeah,
Nah, what it is that people don't want to see it. So they'll speak it in a general sense. If they're tired of seeing it, then it's, man, all you're doing is spreading their message. Why you keep talking about this, man? Oh. But there's the same people that clicked on the video to comment on that video, boosting in the algorithm, causing more people to look at it. Yeah. So that's what it is. You shouldn't even take it offensive. Some people just talk like that. People look at their phones and talk to YouTubers like we are their personal jesters. And we just tap and dance whenever they turn. They talk to us like we inside that little box. The box in your hand that you call the phone. That's how they talk to us. Like it's a black episode. I said a black episode. Like it's an episode of Black Mirror. A black episode.
the only way they hear about these people is from right-wing pundits. But it's important that we actually engage with the culture. And guess what? Unfortunately, sadly, this is the culture. So I guess moral of the story here is if you are a parent, do not take for granted that Mr. Beast is family-friendly entertainment, that, you know, all of the Gen Z YouTubers out there are just wholesome, because they're not. They're trans. They're leaving their wives. They're pushing puberty blockers. So as always, stay vigilant. That's basically all I have to say for now, though. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share.
Oh, wow. We ran through that. Yes, that was a great video. I really do agree with a lot of her stances, man. I don't care if someone wants to transition as an adult, right? Call yourself whatever. I got too much other things to worry about. To be honest with you, I just don't think that you should try to be delusional and spread that to children, right? I think that's not right. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion, man. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Also, this video is for educational purposes. Educational purposes. I know I made a lot of changes recently, and it's because I'm trying to make sure I'm good out here in these streets. So this is probably the last big one, but guys, I have a new channel. It's for my live streams and my podcast, Real Talk with BX Beast Boy. You can find that link. That is a train going on in the background. I'm not editing it out. You can find that the link somewhere on my channel. If you go to my homepage, I'll probably have it in the pinned comments too as well. If not, in the description. But go and check that out. That's where you can catch topics not only early and way before they come out on my main channel, but you actually get to hang out with me and just have conversations, maybe even ask me for advice or just ask me whatever questions you want to have, you know, or ask. So go and check that channel out, subscribe to that. Make sure you check out my previous episodes of my podcast. I appreciate the heck out of y'all, man. Also, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Helps me keep going. You never know, man. I might get canceled. You might come on here. I might be gone tomorrow. Never know. Check me out on Patreon and find exclusive content. You also get early access to a bunch of stuff as well. Check that out.